there, YouTube model builders. Dwayne here again, Badman Scale Customs. Thought I'd do a video on a rear frame clip that I fabbed up here for my 62 Bel Air race car pro street kit that I'm working on. Thought maybe some of you guys be interested in how I fabricate the rear frame clip for this car. This is it. Have a look at it there. Anyhow, when I do these, like this particular one, I have actually built it to scale. So I'll show you where I start here. I have a actual printout of a. This is a Chris Alston Chassis Works. It's actually out of the installation instructions, but what I like about it is it's got all the measurements and detail of what the rear frame clip would be in a one-to-one vehicle, and then I just scale down from there. And so basically where I start is I start with well, first of all, these frame rails are in one-to-one size. They're actually 3 by 2 is what they are. So I start out with a 2 by 4 piece of styrene, and that is, I do have the actual packaging for it here, I think. Right there. So this is 0.080 by 0.188, which in scale works out to be pretty close to what a 2 by 4 is. So anyhow, so with the styrene, what I do to get the bends in it is I have a torch, little butane torch that I use. You can probably, I like the more concentrated flame so that I can get the plastic heated in a more, localized spot, so it doesn't heat the whole length of the tube. You just want to heat the spot where you're bending. So I'll fire it up and I'll show you how that works out. Find a lighter here. So I just use low flame. I like to keep the styrene about, I'd say, a good 4 inches back. Just roll it in there. You can see that just when it starts to, the edge starts to curl up a little bit on it. Just roll it around there, it'll get soft, and then I just bend it like so and lay it on a nice flat surface, hold it down, because the styrene will distort quite a bit. And then once I got it bent, you can see, I mean, it's not perfect, but we'll work that out a little bit later on. So then I just take it and compare it to what the bends on the drawing are. And I mean, that one would have to be bent some more. And just heat it in that spot and continue to bend it until you get the angle you want. And then I come along and put a mark here where I want my second bend and bend it. And then the same with the third bend. So, and then once you get it bent up, and I start with the wider styrene, because, and here's one that's a failed attempt. It's pretty ugly, but it'll work for our demonstrated purposes. Then you can come along, and then you can start, you know, sanding with your sanding stick down here and getting your angles, and, you know, as you go, because you'll have to remove some material out of here to get that bend, you know, looking properly. So, and then what I do, in scale, actually a 3 inches in scale to 1/25th scale works out to be just a little over 3 millimeters actually. And it goes same with you know, like if you got 20 inches, it would actually work out to be very close to 20 millimeters. So that's what I like about scaling down from inches to millimeters. And then I just have a little ruler that has both on it, so I can measure my thicknesses and so forth. So I'm working from behind the camera here, so I haven't. So, but anyways, you can see that's pretty close to 3 there. So once you get your bends the way you want them, then you got to go to work on it with a sandpaper, and that'll take a little time and patience and so forth. But once you get it, you get them shaped, you'll probably end up having to put a little bit of filler in. You can see on this one here I had to put quite a bit in there, but you basically just body work it out so it's nice and flat. Whoops. I usually come along with the sanding stick and just true this all up, get everything else that's supposed to be straight as it can be, and then just, you know, work the corners and the bends in there. So then you can do that times 2, and you get your frame rails built. Now this assembly here actually isn't even glued together. So what I do is I'll take the front off here. I just take and clamp these frame rails together, and I'll drill a hole. As you can see here, the hole for this would be where the coilover mounts, right there. I just eyeball it up, get it pretty close, but I clamp the 2 frame rails together, and I'll drill that out so that they end up the same spot on each rail. And then of course there's also a cross member that goes across the back. This is top view up here, as you can see. So I mean, I didn't put mine right at the back, but you can kind of do whatever you wish there, I suppose. But anyways, so I drill those and get these 2 pieces so that they'll go together. And again, I'm doing this from behind the camera, so I can't see exactly what I'm doing all that well here. And I drill right straight through both sides of the frame. And then that way you got some room to play. And then I'll just come along afterwards once I glue it, and touch up those areas there. So, and then as far as the front cross member goes, this here's the chassis for that car that I'll be using. What I've done here is I've just measured the width between this rail here and this one here, cut that to fit. That'll fit in there. It's a little bit snug, but that'll fit right in there. And then of course we have to cut this hole back piece right out of here, and then once I get that done I can mate this piece, and I'm hoping to use these frame mounts here for some extra strength going in there. But once I get that piece cut, then what I do is I measure, I've made a measure to center, and then from center to this would be the outside of each frame rail, and then once I got that measured, I drill a couple of little holes in there just inside the marks, and then I drill 2 holes in the ends of the frame rails so that I can pin that together. Trying to glue this without any locating pins would be more of an exercise in frustration than I'm willing to take on. So anyhow, I'll take this. Assemble it. There we go. So then before I glue it, I'll just make sure that my width between there and there is good, there and there. Make sure everything's square and glue her up. Now we also notice here that I've left a bit of I've mounted this cross member as far back as it'll go, which corresponds with what's on the drawing, and then I'll probably from here run out, extend the frame right along this rail here for this particular build, and then what I'll do is I'll run some cross members across to wherever the roll bar will tie into the frame there. So there'll probably end up being bar here, one here, and of course for the main hoop probably in this area here. And I don't know yet, but I'll probably have to remove a little bit of material out of there to do that. I should also mention that the size of this cross member is an actual piece of styrene that would be more like a 2x3 piece of rectangular tubing, and I have the package for that somewhere here too. Yeah, there it is. So for anybody looking for the details on that, this is an HO scale, but it's pretty close in scale to 2x3, and that way you don't have to shave that down at all. So, and I do have this figured out where it needs to be cut, but anyways, trying to think of anything else that we might need to go over with that. Probably not. I have what I'm maybe using. I haven't decided yet, but I have this is an old set of an old 4-link kit with a set of wheelie bars on it. The scale on this one's, I think, just a little bit large for this, but I might trim it down a little bit and go with it. See, the 4-link brackets should mount right up against there, nice and flush. And then, I don't know if you can see, you can kind of see there with how the rear coil over is pretty close to being deadly in line there with the spring mount that we've got there. By the time we build a bracket for this or whatever, we can get the springs exactly where we want them. So anyhow, that's pretty much right there too what it's going to sit like. So, but anyhow, that's pretty much the frame clip in a nutshell. What I might do is, when I get a little bit further on, once I get this cut, this mounted. I might do another video on mounting some of the other cross member pieces as well, and then I'll fabricate up some wheel tubs for it and all the interior aluminum tin work that it'll need, and hopefully everything goes together nice and it might actually look like a race car. So, but anyhow, I'll leave it at that for now. Get another look at it from this angle. Once I get it, yeah, I get it all primed up, and it'll hide all the filler and stuff in it. Not a lot of filler, but definitely some. You'll find that when you make the bends, it'll distort in the corners. Usually it'll leave a sink mark in there, so you just have to fill those and away you go. But anyways, thanks guys for watching, and I'll do another update, or not an update, but maybe another how-to or a progress video on this when I get a little further with it. And we'll see you next time. Alright, bye for now.